Okay, RFK Jr. is discussing the possibility of banning cell phones for kids in school. And he was on Fox and Friends a couple days ago talking about it. Let's play that clip.
There are many other countries in the world that have banned cell phones in our schools. There's now 19 states with these restrictions. I applaud Governor Glenn Youngkin of Virginia, and I asked him to take me out to one of the schools that was the first one to adopt his executive order, which was Louisa County High School. And that school is one of the top performing schools in the state. I think it is the top performing school in the state. And I wanted to talk to parents and students and the teachers about what they felt about the cell phone ban. And I was shocked by how supportive they were, particularly the students. Mm-hmm. I polled students in a bunch of classrooms and in the cafeteria, and only one of them said he didn't like the ban. The other one said that it helped them increase their socialization, that it helped them do better homework. And the parents were very happy because the discipline of not having a cell phone at school also meant that it was easier to teach your kids not to use it when they were driving their car and to do their homework at home without referencing their cell phones all the time. The cell phones also produce electromagnetic radiation, which has been shown to do neurological damage to kids when it's around them all day.
Okay, so things kind of veer off to the left field towards the end there. We're talking about the electromagnetic radiation causing neurological damage. I don't think there's any solid proof of that. I mean, if there was, then why would we be talking about banning them just in schools? Like, we should be having a much larger conversation if these things have electromagnetic radiation that are damaging our brains. Banning them just in school is like, why is that the discussion? And maybe that's true, but I'm not saying that it's to me, it seems quite possible that we've got these things to our faces all day long that are just shooting radiation directly into our brains. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure that it's actually been proven. And like I said, if it has, then we need to be having a much larger conversation about cell phones. In any case, we don't need to get into electromagnetic radiation to justify a cell phone ban in school. Obviously, they should be banned. Clearly, there is no upside to having kids walking around school and sitting in class with smartphones. It is insane that it's allowed anywhere. It's just crazy that it isn't already banned in every school in the country. Why should it be banned? Well, again, for every reason, for all the reasons. Any reason you can, the phones are a huge distraction. That's the big one. They make educating kids basically impossible. Teachers have to compete with the phones, which is just not possible to do. Chronic smartphone use among children also clearly damages their minds in ways unrelated to radiation. It makes them much more easily distracted, makes them more dependent on constant stimulation. It shortens their attention spans. It exposes them to every kind of inappropriate image or video or piece of content in existence. Cell phone use among children has been linked to depression and anxiety because, of course, it has. There's plenty of evidence that it impacts your memory, your ability to retain information, and on and on and on. So there is only downside to letting kids have smartphones in school. There's no upside. What's the upside? So why is it allowed anywhere? Why aren't they all banned in every school? And why hasn't that been the case for 15 years? This is not an issue of constitutional rights. I hope I don't have to explain that kids don't have a constitutional right to bring a smartphone into a government school building. So it's not a freedom thing. So why haven't they already been banned? Being a husband, father, and host of my own show means life never slows down. Imagine trying to eat 31 different fruits and vegetables every day. Sounds miserable and just time-consuming. But with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies, there's never been a more convenient dietary supplement to ensure you get a wide variety of fruits and vegetables every day with 31 different whole fruit and vegetable ingredients. Balance of Nature takes fruits and vegetables, they freeze-dry them, turn them into a powder, and then put them into a capsule. You take your fruit and veggie capsules every day, and then your body knows what to do with them. Go to balanceofnature.com, use promo code Walsh for 35% off your first preferred order as a preferred customer. Plus, get a free bottle of fiber and spice. That's Balance of Nature, promo code Walsh. I'm sorry to say that parents are insane on this on the issue of cell phones and their kids. Many parents are just crazy when it comes to this topic. I don't know how else to put it. But you've got parents giving their kids smartphones at the age of 7 and letting them bring them to school. You are a crazy person. That's an insane thing to do. It can only harm your kid. It can only cause problems. It cannot help in any way whatsoever. Why are you doing that? But yet this is what plenty of parents do. It's why it's an issue. Talk to any teacher. They'll tell you this. They're constantly having to compete with the phones. It's not possible. It's already hard enough. You got 30 kids in a classroom trying to hold their attention for 45 minutes while you teach them about geography or reading or whatever. But to do that when they're all staring at their phones, how do you do it? You can't do it. So if there was 100% agreement among parents that cell phones should not be in school, then bans would already be in place everywhere. And they would be banned, and the bans would be enforced by the parents at home. But that isn't happening. In fact, there was a poll several months ago that found that 68% of adults support a ban on cell phones in the classroom specifically, while 36% support a ban on cell phones in the school period. So you get 36% that say cell phones should not be allowed to be brought into the school. And then you've got, but only 36% say that. And then 68% say, well, you shouldn't be allowed to have them in the classroom, but you could still have them at school. So let's break this down. 68% support a ban on cell phones in the actual classroom. That's a wide majority. Great. But that means that 32% of adults don't support a ban on cell phones in the classroom. They actually think that cell phones kids should be allowed to have their cell phones on them in the classroom. 32% of adults think that. Why? Why? You actually want that? You want your kid to be sitting there with a cell phone in his hand while he's in class? Why do you want that? How do you think that's helping your child? What good do you think is being done here? But the bigger issue is that over 60% of adults don't want a full ban on smartphones in school. Over 60% think that kids should be able to bring phones into the school at least. And again, it's nuts. I can't understand. I can't understand buying your 9-year-old a cell phone in the first place, and especially allowing him to. He's going to school. Hey, do you have your portable distraction device? Make sure you have it with you when you go to school, Junior. What? Now, I know I'm being a little bit intentionally obtuse here. I think that most parents who allow this, it's not because they think it's good. It's because they just lack the ability to stand up to their kids on this topic. And I think that what a lot of parents would say to justify it is they would say, well, I need to be able to get in touch with my kids. I need to be able to stay in contact with them. Look, first of all, as I've said a million times, if that's really all you're concerned about is just that you want to be able to get in touch with your kid in case of an emergency, you can buy him a cell phone that has no internet capability whatsoever, a dumb phone, not a smartphone. They do sell those. It's not hard to get them. You can order them on Amazon. You can go to, most cell phone stores still. But you can, those are not hard to find. They're not expensive. And you can even program that this phone can only receive calls from certain numbers and can only call certain numbers. So if all you're concerned about is just that your kid has the ability to reach you in case of emergency, then give him a dumb phone with no internet connection that can only call you or be called by you. And 911, let's say. So that clears up that concern. But that's not what parents are doing. Like parents, if that's all that kids had in school, it wouldn't even be an issue. It would basically be a non-issue. But no, parents are saying, oh, I need to be able to get a hold of my child, so I'm going to give him a cell phone with full internet capabilities where he can access anything on the internet and call anybody, text anybody, receive calls from anybody. Just so that I am able to contact my child, I need to make sure that my child has a device that gives him direct access to the whole world in school. So it doesn't make any sense, and that argument just doesn't hold up. And so again, the real reason why parents do this is because they don't want their kid to feel left out. God forbid that all of your kids' friends turn into screen-addicted zombies and your kid doesn't. God forbid that your kid is left out because he's not a zombie. Wouldn't want that. You know, when I was growing up, the classic thing we heard from our parents all the time, you know, remember the classic thing was, well, just because your friends are jumping off a bridge doesn't mean you would too. And of course, that never really worked because, you know, assuming the bridge is not too high and there's water down below. Actually, if you know, as a teenage boy, if all my friends are jumping off a bridge and that, like, I definitely would. That sounds like a lot of fun. So that never worked, but the idea was pretty solid. That, like, well, just because all your friends are doing something really harmful doesn't mean you should do it too. But now it's like parents are saying the opposite. The parents are saying to their kids, well, you know, if all your friends are damaging their brains, you need to do the same. You don't want to be left out as the only non-brain damaged person. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.